Welcome to the Paper Plate Show. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about the Argos and Ryan Dinwiddie's comments. Talk about that poll question, Winnipeg. Is that still a dynasty? Is there still a possibility for a dynasty with the way this team is playing right now?
Or was it ever a dynasty, huh?
Some
Yeah.
people say there never was one. Also, another conversation I think folks are interested in right now is what's going on in Edmonton with Cody
Yeah.
playing so well. They got to do something potentially at the end of the season with the quarterback. They came out and said, "This is our franchise guy. He's our starter." Talking about Tre Ford when they took over, and now it's clear that Cody Fajardo is their starting quarterback.
Yep.
Might be something they have to do there, and then a few other things, some hidden truths about the ratio, roster construction, and potentially how head coaches, depending on what side of the ball that they're on, how they often construct their roster and ratio.
And don't forget we talk a little Davis Alexander's pregame attire. We'll touch on that too. So
All right, let's talk about it. Dinwiddie.
Ryan Dinwiddie, yeah.
Yes.
So after the game, Ryan Dinwiddie, he was really frustrated and he didn't hold back on what he thought.
Let's roll these
Yeah,
comments.
let's roll. Mhm.
I just told him I'm not going to quit on them, and I don't think those guys quit on us, but I think we got some pretenders in the building, right? Like to talk a big game and don't show up on game day.
I mean, as you can hear and see, he's frustrated and he's not holding back. He's basically saying there's some guys in there who talk a great game, but they don't back it up. And I love the fact that he's let his players know how he feels. If they're playing well, he gives them love. But now those guys aren't playing well, and now they need to understand that their job is on the line. And I'm 100% behind the way he's handling this situation.
You're okay with a guy, a coach calling you a pretender? I mean, that to me, I get talking about execution. I get even talking about effort at times with coaches. But a pretender, there's got to be some guys in that room that take it personally when they hear that. And I know where you're going already because I know you well enough.
Where am I going?
You're going to say, if you're taking that personally, if you feel like that's intended for you, then it is.
It is. It is what it is. You know me, Chaz. You know me well. If you're not a pretender, you're like, so what?
So he's not talking about me.
He's not talking about me, yeah.
So here's another angle. Ryan Dinwiddie is and was a quarterback.
Right.
The words and the language he's using is not about execution. He's not talking about a guy missing a throw. He's not talking about a guy missing a read. He's talking about a guy getting his ass kicked, getting out physical.
Effort.
And that's not quarterbacks. That's not a quarterback's job. I don't mean coach's job, but I mean that's not a quarterback he's talking to. He's talking to a defensive tackle who's getting his butt kicked on the line of scrimmage. He's talking about a linebacker who's not filling the gap and taking on blocks. Something that Ryan Dinwiddie's never done.
What?
Now, I'm not I'm not saying that he's a head coach and doesn't have the right to talk about these type of things. But I would say, for me, in my experience, usually when a guy is talking about that type of stuff, talking about getting your ass kicked, talking about being a pretender, talking about that, it's usually a defensive line coach, an offensive line coach, someone who's played that, had that role in professional football and can relate. You're not buying that.
So you're saying the only coach in the CFL who can talk like that is Corey Mace or maybe Mike O'Shea, who played middle linebacker. Those are the only two coaches who have the right to say what Ryan Dinwiddie said, because other coaches were quarterbacks or special teams guys, or Coach Dice was a receiver. So those are the only coaches who have the right to say that? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think that they're the only ones that have a right. I'm saying they might be the only ones that comments ring true, or that comments affect guys. I mean, to me, look, let's go with this, okay? Were you going to come into the locker room before a game, or me as a cover corner, you as a wide receiver, come into the locker room before a game and let's blow these guys off the ball, let's win the line of scrimmage, let's dominate their at, like Or at halftime, we're getting our butts kicked, take on some blocks. You're not taking on blocks. You're not doing. I don't know if that's my role. And let's look. I'm not saying that Coach Dinwiddie can't say these things. He's the head coach. He can say whatever he wants. I'm talking about effectiveness. I would think that some interior defensive lineman on that team who's taking on double teams, who's doing this, who's middle linebacker, guy on special teams, who's throwing his face in every time, doesn't really want to hear a quarterback with a pencil in his ear and a dip in his mouth talking about you guys are some pretenders. Like, I'll kick your ass. You want to see a pretender? I'll kick your ass. So I don't know if I'm taking it that far, or I'm enjoying that coming from a quarterback.
The quarterback. Think about this, Chaz. In professional sports, in any sport, it's the most mentally and physically challenging position there is. There's no more difficult position there is in sport. The pounding they take, the things they have to know. What do you mean? A quarterback should be able to talk to anyone any way they want to, because everything they have to endure mentally and physically, there's no more challenging position than that. I don't care about an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, and linebacker. There's no more challenging position than playing the quarterback.
Then talk to me about getting it done. Talk to me about executing. Talk to me about locking in. Don't talk to me about being soft and being a pretender, being a phony. I'm not buying that. Anyway, let's go on to the next comment. The next comment. What he mentioned about Chad Kelly.
Well, I think he's close. I don't know if I don't want to put him in front of that O-line. I thought Nick did a good job climbing the pocket, had some scrambles and those things, but like a run play, we got cross face every time on second and medium. And there's no excuse we're at home. There's no crowd noise, none of that stuff. So
he's on his offensive line, and I love that he's calling him out. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So you sound like you have a problem with it. I don't understand.
I don't have a problem with that at all. No, I don't have a problem with that.
Go ahead.
I mean, he's basically saying that my O line's no good, and I wouldn't want to put my quarterback coming off injury in front of this group that's not good. I mean, that's a fact. I don't have any problem with that. I think it's funny, to be honest.
I think this team right now, the way they're positioned, they lose this week and maybe next week, and we'll see some wholesale changes. They'll swap out a bunch of guys. We know these NFL cuts are coming up. I'm sure they got some guys on their NIG list. They'll bring in some guys that they're going to make some major changes if this continues. But I love Ryan Dinwiddie, and I'm not just saying that because he's a good friend of mine. I'm saying that because I love that type of coaching. I have no problem with him. None at all.
All right, let's go on to second one is the poll question. You want to pull up? Let's pull up that graphic.
Yeah.
Let's pull up this graphic. This got some good engagement and it sparked some interesting conversation. Let's pull this up. Take a look. All right. Milt, tell us about this poll you had popping.
Yep. So this poll was based on the Bomber dynasty, and it was basically we asked Zach Collaros isn't playing at elite level, so is Winnipeg's historical run done, or was it never a true dynasty? So the options you had to vote on was yes, it's over. No, a regroup is needed. Never was a dynasty. Or too soon to tell. No, regroup is needed, got 15%. Too soon to tell, got 22%. Yes, it's over, 27%. And at 36%, it was never a dynasty. I wonder what a majority of those fans, what province they come from, who said that.
Rider fans in the house. I mean, look, that's where were you on this?
Oh, come on, Chaz. And people going to say I'm being biased, but no. First of all, It was a dynasty. Second of all, it's not over until it's over. It's not over till they, as I've been saying, till they don't make the playoffs or they get to the playoffs and they get crushed and they're out of the playoffs. That's when it's over. But right now, they're still in the position to continue that dynasty. And before you chime in, I just want to give the definition of a dynasty for those who think it was not a dynasty. And when it comes to sports, a dynasty is something that signifies a team or individual that consistently dominates their respective sport or league over an extended period, often with multiple championships or significant achievements. Let me repeat that. Significant achievements. Going to 5 straight Grey Cups. Only 3 teams have done that. Winnipeg, Edmonton back in the day, and Hamilton back in the day. So for those who don't want to say they are a dynasty, look up the definition. Significant achievements, Chaz.
Also, the first sentence was multiple championships, which they also have.
They have that.
Yeah. So look, I've wavered on that topic. You can't go to 5 straight Grey Cups and not be considered dynasty.
No,
I mean, there's no question. So they are a dynasty, and I agree with you, because in a league where 6 of the 9 teams make the playoffs, they could easily go back to the Grey Cup again this year. So I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with it's not over. It's not over because it isn't over at this point. I'm going to go with that as well.
I'll leave it at this. It's not looking good though. It's not looking good. The golden era is over. It's what, bronze or nickel era that they're dealing with right now. It is not looking good. I'm going to be honest about that. I bleed blue and gold like no other, but I'm also honest about my analysis of this team. And right now, it's not looking good. It's not.
The one thing I would add to this is, in a 1-game playoff, the experience that this group has is important and can be valuable. Also, I would add that the one thing that they've been able to hang their hat on the last 5 years is that defense, and that's not the case right now.
It's not the case. It's not the case.
So, and that's the biggest difference.
But it's a dynasty, and for those, you can DM me and we can have this argument. They are a dynasty.
Why do you want them to DM you? Why do you want them to do it privately?
Because
you want people to slide in your DMs, Milt?
Some folks are scared to approach me on the public platform. So if they're scared, I know I can be intimidating sometimes. Don't let the smooth taste fool you, but you can DM me and we have a private conversation.
We're trying to promote a show and a podcast and get engagement here, Milt. Stop telling people to hit you on the down. Why don't you give out your pager number too?
I still got my pager, baby. I still got it. 1-800-SCOT-PAGE, baby. You better ask somebody.
All right. Let's move on to the hidden truth. This is a conversation we've wanted to have for a while now, and a good time to have it, because we had some guys talking to us this week. We had a call, and we're talking to some guys around the league about roster composition and the hidden truths in the CFL world that's been like this forever. And in most cases, whatever side of the ball the head coach is on, if the head coach is an offensive guy, offensive coordinator, or a defensive guy, usually that side of the ball is the side that gets to have the roster filled the way they want it. And for reasons, I mean, your thoughts on that? 2 things. 1, ratio. 2, salary cap. So you only have a certain amount of money to spend. If you're an offensive guy, an offensive head coach, you're going to go out and get that receiver. You're going to go out and get that quarterback. You're going to get that offensive lineman. Or you'll go out and put your Canadians or Americans where you want them for your success. Your thoughts on this?
Oh, without a doubt. As an offensive coordinator, if I'm the head coach, I'm an offensive guy, and things don't go the way they should be going, like we're losing, I'm going to have the best players on offense, so it's not going to be my fault. That's why coaches have that mindset. If it goes down, if the ship starts sinking, it's not going to be my unit's fault. So that's why these coaches, for the most part, it's not always the case. If they're going to have,
it's never always. Let's be clear, it's not always.
No, it's never always. But they're going to try to stack their side of the ball with the best Canadians, or if they can have the let's be honest, the most Americans on that side of let's be honest about it. The most Americans on that side of the ball. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
It's,
the ratio.
it's
When
the
you're
name of
looking
the
at
game.
ratio,
Yeah.
yeah, when you're looking at ratio, if if you have certain guys you need to play for ratio reasons, you're not gonna put them on your side of the ball, and that's just survival. You're
Right.
to your point. You're to your point, and this is where we had a phone conversation with. I had a phone conversation. You've had them in the past as well with guys, and they were talking about why certain guys were playing on certain sides of the ball, why certain sides of the ball were struggling currently in the league, and one of the reasons somebody's told us, which we'll keep anonymous, but told us that it's because of the ratio and how where they need to play their guys
Yep.
because they're playing their guys on the other side of the ball, which is where the head coach is. So, and that's the way it works. I mean,
That's the way it works.
that's
Yep.
just something that no one ever talks about. But I will tell you what, if I'm a head coach, and you said it, you're protecting your job. If you're at the end of the season comes and I'm a defensive head coach and my defense is at the bottom of the league, my offense is great because I stacked my roster on offense. They might fire me and promote that offensive coordinator to be the head coach.
Right. The
And I'm
defensive
playing,
coordinator to be the head coach.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So I'm playing my guy. I'm playing my guys where I need to play them to have the best unit I can have. That's just the way it
Yep.
is.
Yep. When I first got in the league, it was unheard of for offensive linemen to be American. They were all, and I'm not saying one individual or whatever is better than anything. I'm just stating facts. There were no American offensive linemen when I first got in the league. As I started getting, as my years came in and I started playing more, you started seeing more and more American offensive linemen. And now you have teams who dress 3 and 4 American offensive linemen. They move I think what helps is the skill position for the Canadians. They've gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Just stating facts. They've gotten a lot better. So now you got Canadian running backs, receivers, DB, wherever you can put them just about anywhere at the skill position. That's a big reason why you're able to install those American offensive linemen now. So that's a big factor into that.
Anything from these weeks? Obviously, what a great week of football. Yeah, we just got some. Yeah, the numbers came out, pretty good numbers. When you look at broadcast numbers, look at everything. This is a really good week of football, really exciting games. Anything from these 4 games that stood out? I thought, obviously, the final game with the two of, Calgary beating Winnipeg 3 times now.
What?
Yeah,
What?
that is.
Yes.
Who would have ever thought that was going to happen? If you look entering the season, we thought some of us thought Calgary wasn't going to be very good. Instead, they beat Winnipeg 3 times before Labor Day.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised about Calgary, and I've been saying this all year long. Adding VA would totally change that team, and I know they overhauled the defense, but adding VA changed that team. But as far as this past week, and I tweeted this out, that was the best week of football in the CFL, and I can't remember the last time we had a week like that. And I always say you watch CFL games to see scoring. You don't watch to see low scoring games. And I can't stand when people say it's a great defensive game. That's not what people want to see in the CFL. They want to see high, explosive, big plays on both sides of the ball and the return game. They want to see all that. They don't want to see games that end in 17-10. They want to see games where all 4 games average out to 66 points, over 2,900 net yards. That's what they want to see. That's what we got. We can get that every week, man. This league, it's very difficult to get that every week, but that right there was something special and just excited to be a part of.
Anytime it's a defensive battle or you see someone says it's a defensive game, if it's good quarterbacks playing, good quarterback play and low scoring, I could accept that. But when it's low scoring and backup quarterbacks, and it's just usually bad football, right? We agree with that.
Nope. I don't want to see no low scoring. I just told you that, Chaz.
No. I said you agree with that when it's backup quarterbacks, it's bad football. When it's backup quarterback, if you have 2 good quarterbacks playing and the defense are playing good football, that's not like you would never find a good game there.
No. That means the quarterbacks aren't playing that well, regardless if they're backups or starters. If it's not high scoring, They're not playing that well. I don't want no. I don't like that. No, I don't care if it's a backup, a starter, a 10-year vet, or guy who's making his
If
first
you,
start.
I'm gonna tell you what, if you don't start to open your ears a little bit and listen to what's going on and change your attitude, I'm gonna pull out and talk about what you said on the panel this weekend during a game situation, and I'm gonna bring it to light in front of everybody.
Bring
What you said.
Davis. I'm
Yes.
55 years old, bro. I got to this point and I've been doing great. It's too late to change. What I'm gonna change now? Only thing I'm changing is my underwear. That's it. That's it. Ain't nothing else
Okay.
changing.
So
That's
okay.
it.
So I'll take that as I won't talk about your terrible coaching decision and what you said you would do in the
Talk
situation.
about it. I
Are
don't care.
you
Talk about it.
sure?
I'm,
What
I'm
happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors, Mel.
no, I
But
don't
sometimes
care.
things
I stick
sometimes
by
things
it.
need to be talked about.
Talk about it, Ches. Talk about it.
All right.
Talk
You
about it.
forced me into it. You
Bring it
forced you
up.
forced me into
Bring
it.
up the game. It's the Montreal Edmonton game. Bring it up.
Oh my goodness.
Bring
Okay.
it up. Bring it up.
Montreal Edmonton game. I'm going to pull up the play-by-play right now. Montreal goes down. Edmonton goes down. Sorry, and scores to go up. What was the
All
final
right. They
score?
went up by. They went up
Went up
by
by one. No,
one.
that wasn't. It wasn't that game. It wasn't that game. Oh yes, it
It
was.
was.
Yes, it
It
was.
was the
Yes, it
Montreal
was the
Edmonton
game.
game. Yeah.
So Montreal Edmonton with 30 seconds left in the game.
20
They go
seconds.
down. 20
Oh, they
seconds
go.
left in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Edmonton goes down and goes up 1 point.
Right.
At that point, I'm sitting next to Milt in studio on the desk, and Milt says, "Why are they going for two? I would not go for two right now." And I said to Milt, he said, "Why are they going for two?" I said, "To make it a 3 point game. So a field goal now, you need a field goal now to tie." Milt says at that point, Milt says, I would not go for two right now. I would kick the single. And that's when we both looked at you and said, "What are you talking about? And what is
Who
your
looked at me?
reason?"
You only one who looked at me. Enoch didn't look
Enoch,
at me.
Enoch agreed.
No, he didn't. No,
Are
he
you joking right
didn't.
now? Are you? Well, I
Enoch
don't
agreed
care.
with you.
Absolutely, everyone agrees with me on this. Are you kidding me? But go
Well,
ahead.
let's see what
Okay.
the people say.
Okay.
Go
Let's
ahead.
see.
Finish
Yeah,
up.
okay. So,
Finish up.
so no, you finish up. So what was your theory? So they're up one. I'm saying you go for two, make it a 3 point game. There's no point in going up 2 points in this thing. Make it a 3 point game. So a field goal now. You need a field goal now to tie you. And you can't lose from a field goal. Your theory was
My theory was go up by two, right? They had like 20 seconds left. Them getting in field goal range, it was going to be difficult, but them having an opportunity to punt the ball out of the side of the end zone and tie the game was greater than them getting in field goal range and kicking a field goal. So that's why I said go for one, so you're up by two. So if they were getting in a position where they could punt it in, they only get 1 point, it doesn't matter. That's why I said go for the one.
So my argument here is if they get a punt return or kickoff return for a few yards, get one pass interference, one Hail Mary, and not Hail Mary, one deep shot, one deep dig, one out route, one pass interference, they now kick a field goal and you lose the game. And that's the simple fact of it. And then also the difference between a punt single and a field goal single, there's not that much yardage difference. So why would you not just we did talk to Lapo about it, and
He was
everyone
on the
has their own.
fence. He was on the fence.
He was on the fence.
He said, I agree with both of you guys. He said that. He said, I agree with both of you guys. I understand where you're coming from.
He said he would kick. He said he would go for
He
two.
said he understood
But
where
he hears.
both of
He
us
said he
coming
would
from.
go for two, but he hears where you're coming from.
So that means he understands both of us.
Well, I can still say I'm going for two. I still would go for two, but I can still understand where you're coming from. Doesn't mean it's right. I understand
Doesn't
where you're
mean
coming
you're
from. It's
right.
wrong.
Well, we're
Okay,
gonna
so
let the people. We're gonna let the people vote on
Okay,
this.
so
Chad.
anyone
We're
that
gonna let
has
the people
any,
vote.
okay, so anyone who has anybody who watches football, understands the game, either is a player or a coach, has any experience, chime in on this. Then you're up one, you score. Do you go for two, make it a 3 point game with 30 seconds, 20 seconds left?
Take 20 seconds left.
Check
Look at
this. It's not 20 seconds, Bill. You
it
keep
was
saying
20
20.
seconds when Montreal got the ball
More than
back.
20, but it
It
doesn't
was
matter.
20 seconds.
Still,
It was 20 seconds when Montreal got the ball back.
let's say 20 seconds for argument's sake. 20 seconds left. You score. You go up by one. Do you go for two to make it a 3 point game, or do you take or do you kick an extra point and make it a 2 point game? So ridiculous. Anyway,
Look at everything involved with it. Look who is the quarterback for Montreal. I considered all that.
I think you just
All
weren't
that.
counting, and then you try to backpedal. But anyway,
Oh, okay. I don't
all
even
right,
know how to backpedal. Everything I'm doing, I'm going forward, baby. You better
all
ask.
right, all right. Get off my lawn. The get off my lawn, grumpy old man Milt quote of the week. You were mad about something in the Montreal. Not mad, but you were having some fun with something in the Montreal game pregame.
Yeah,
We had
yeah,
our cameras on. What's up?
yeah. And maybe I'm just old school and too professional, but Davis Alexander, who's on injured reserve right now, he came out to pregame and he had on a tank top. That's what we're doing now. We're wearing tank
You
tops
call,
in
you call,
pregame. Is that what we're doing? And like I say, maybe I'm that old guy saying get off my lawn, but that's not going over well with me. I need you to be more professional. And I know some guys come out and they come out with their shirts are going to have on underneath their uniform. They're tight and their arms are. I have no problem with that. But you're coming out with the tank top. There's a difference between the undershirt and the tank top. And like I say, I don't. That's just not me. I don't like that. I need you to be more professional. Get off my lawn, Davis Alexander. I think you're a great player,
Hey,
but I'm not with that. I'm not
hey,
with that.
shout out to
Yeah.
Davis Alexander. Both of us massive fans. The kid has game. He hasn't
Oh,
lost
without a
yet.
doubt. Without a doubt.
But Davis, you have lost in the eyes of Milt for wearing that undershirt on the sidelines. That's your first loss of your CFL career is
That's
that
it, baby.
undershirt you had on. Milt Stegall, Uncle Milt does not like your undershirt, Davis.
The next game, come out in a 3-piece suit in pregame. Now during the game, he had on his Montreal T-shirt, but pregame, why would he come out with that in pregame? And then did he get finished working out? He wanted to show off his muscles or something?
I can't call it.
I don't understand that. So we still love you, brother. We still
Yeah,
love you.
absolutely. Let's
Yeah.
talk. Let's talk a little about Travis Hunter real fast. We got a little time here. Let's talk real fast about Travis Hunter, cornerback or wide receiver. Where would you play? Came out in the first preseason game. Looked good as expected. Where would you play? How would you divvy up? You can't play every snap at receiver and
No.
every snap at corner. How would you think a guy could be most successful? If you're the Jags, how would you use him? And how do you think a guy could be most successful?
Well,
Would you want me to go first?
I can go first. They struggled on both sides of the ball, and anyone who knows sports in the NFL, you got quarterback, and then cornerback is the most difficult position in football. So I'm gonna majority of the time he's gonna be a cornerback. It's not too difficult to find a receiver who can go off. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But a great cornerback, it's difficult to find. So I'm gonna give him some time at receiver. But the majority of the time, you go be on that cornerback position. If you got a shutdown cornerback, that totally changes how you can play on defense. You understand that better than anybody, Jez.
I didn't think you were going to say that. That's interesting. I agree.
I'm honest. I'm honest. Yeah.
I agree. And also, you can play rotational receiver. You can come in as a third wide or the fourth wide and take your breath when you want. And still, if you're playing to go in situationally at corner, there's a level of comfort that is there that you have to have being in the game the whole time versus you can come in at receiver and come in, like you said, on passing downs. You could play, 5 or 6 plays a quarter and still be comfortable.
Right.
But at corner, you got to be out there to feel the game. This is interesting because he is, I would say this, watching this kid, his fluidity and how he plays the ball, his quickness, how effortlessly he makes things look. He's the real deal, but it's gonna be fun to watch him play. They're gonna go at him too. That's gonna be because he's little, he's tiny, he is skinny.
He's skinny.
And so we'll see how they attack him.
Frail. Yeah, I've seen him before here in Atlanta, and he's a crazy athlete. The man, as far as basketball, he could have pursued basketball in college. And
really?
Oh, he's an exceptional athlete. He can jump out of the gym. He plays hard defense.
Nasty.
And it seems like he's a great individual, a great person. He works hard. So it's going to be interesting to see how his career unfolds because if he can stay healthy, and as you mentioned, he's a small guy, he can do some great things. He can do some great things. Yeah.
Add one more last point. What I saw, I did some draft coverage this year for TSN, and Travis, one of the guys that I did some studying on, I had to break down. But he's tough tougher than I thought. So he will throw it in there. He
Yep.
is physical. He'll attack the run. He'll fill. Like, he's a tough dude, and so that'll be interesting because he's got heart, but he's also $180. So let's see.
You got to be smart.
What do you call them? Business decisions.
Business decisions, baby.
Yeah.
He need to learn from his coach, Deion Sanders. The reason why
Yeah.
he played forever. It wasn't because he was sticking his nose in there. So that's pretty cool. We forgot to touch on the Tre Ford situation.
Yeah.
You want to let's talk about that. So in Edmonton right now, Cody Fajardo has been the starter the last 3 games. He's played pretty well. He's played pretty well. They got another victory this past week. So I was just thinking about if Cody continues playing well and this team wins some more games, possibly getting to the playoffs. If you're the Elk organization, if you're the powers to be, do you try to do something with Tre? Do you try to move him? Do you try to get rid of him? What decision do you make? Because that's a lot of money to be paying a backup, and I'm sure he doesn't want to be a backup. So what decision do you make if those things come true with Cody Fajardo, Chaz?
Yeah. As of right now, what we see right now, Cody is clearly the starter, and if it continues that way, then you have to move off of Tre. Look, and when I say move off him, we know that his contract and how it's laid out will dictate what happens. I mean, if he has guaranteed money, then he's going to get released because he's not going to be tradable with guaranteed money. Mm-hmm. If it's playtime money, he can stick around and do that. But I highly doubt he just signed a new contract. His agent certainly didn't give him a bunch of playtime money. That's not the way it works. No. But I bet you that he has a big off-season bonus because they're not going to want to drag it into June. So he's probably got something February 15th or something that would make him on or off the roster. So look, the fact that Ed Hervey and the fact that they've moved off him so quickly after announcing that he was the guy and kind of saying that he was the franchise and moving forward, and not the franchise, but that they were going to build around him and all those conversations. The fact that they moved off him so fast, that's an indicator. How about that? And again, we're not writing him off.
No,
but he just like the guys last year, just like the regime that was there last year. They said he wasn't ready yet, and he's not again. If anyone Tre should be sick of us talking about him. We said it all the time. Like we talk about it all the time, but Tre, it's because you're polarizing, because you're an immense talent. It's because you played in U Sport football, so you don't necessarily have the reps that other guys have had. Waterloo, I'm sure you don't get the same reps as the SEC. I mean, it's a process, and you have such great talent. And maybe there's a time where you're going to be a special quarterback. Right now, you're a special athlete.
Yep. Let me start off by saying this. Davis and I, we talk about, and everyone up here, we talk about how much we want this young man to succeed. If Tre Ford ever gets to the point where he's an elite quarterback, he's not only going to be the face of the city, he's going to be the face of Canada. That's how special he can be. But right now, that's not the case. And in my opinion, I think if Cody continues playing well and they win and almost get in the playoffs and make the playoffs, I think they'll say to Tre, okay, this is what we need. We want you around, but we can't have you around for what we're paying you. So we're going to have to give you an incentive-based contract. And if you don't want to take that, we're going to cut you outright. I think that's going to be the case. I think they still want him around, but not for what he's scheduled to make, in my opinion. As I mentioned, he's a special talent, but he just hadn't put it all together. And if he can ever do that, he'll be something special in this league. So I think they'll go that route if Cody continues doing what he's doing.
That was good. That was a good chat. Little bit longer this week. What else? Anything you want to end with, Uncle Milt?
Uncle Milt. Yeah. Stop questioning me, Davis. Stop questioning me, son. I've been in this game too long. I've been doing this too long. You're starting to question me, but it's all right though. It's all right. I still love you like the little brother I never wanted, but Stop questioning.
I'm gonna stop questioning you. I honestly, I'm gonna stop questioning you as soon as we stop recording this podcast. I'll stop questioning.
I love it. I love it.
Let's go. Next time. Appreciate
Okay.
you guys.
Thank you, guys.